I was looking at the senior people who are running our country. So Wes Streeting is gay. He has a fiance. He hasn't got a convention.
His fiance is something like the chief exec of the Labour Party or something.
Yeah, his fiance has been given the job since as the chief exec of it. He's been given a government job, not the Labour Party.
Oh, is that a government job?
He's paid 105 grand a year for some job with the government.
Right.
Keir Starmer, we know there's something wrong with his family life. We know it's not a conventional family. It hasn't broken yet. We'll talk about that later. Angela Rayner, single mum.
Yeah. Whose son and his girlfriend do OnlyFans. Did you know that?
Oh, I think you told me about
that. Yeah, they do that. An OnlyFans page doing bondage or slapping each other's asses with lettuce or something, and they get paid doing that. So she raised him well.
Kamala Harris never had any children.
Right.
So she talks about being a parent, but she's never actually...
She's a step-parent, yeah.
She's a step-parent, and her kids were actually nearly adults when she married her current side of it. And then this thing about the NHS sending condolences on miscarriages. What I'm saying there is, and maybe you'll hold me to task on this, we are being governed by an elite who do not have, in a lot of cases, conventional families. What you and I understand as a conventional family. A wife, a husband, children. And you and I have talked about families before. An interesting Kemi Badenoch, who is a candidate for the Tory leadership, she recently wrote an article or spoke about where are the dads? About the fact that, we talk about single mothers and castigate or whatever, but where are the fathers now in our society? Yeah. And I think there's two things to say here. I know your views on family, and I know they're very strong. But I think what I also want to say is, it's part of the problem here that the people, the elite, the ruling class, don't actually know what a family looks like. A true family looks like. The nuclear family that you and I knew in the 60s and 70s. Do they actually understand what a family is? And is part of the reason they're doing what they're doing is because they either don't know what it is or they despise the family. Is that a reason that these things are happening?
The first thing I would say is, if you were crossing a road, even now with your adult or your children adults, even with your adult children now, and there was a bus he didn't see or she didn't see, would you jump in a road to push your child out of the way knowing you would be hit by that bus?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
Because that's inbuilt in you.
Yeah.
That's you wanting your children to survive. That all goes down to genetics and trying to pass on your genes. You wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't go, right, it's all too late then. It'd be an instinct.
Yeah, I've been in situations like that. I was once in a firework party where the firework thing fell over and the fireworks started shooting. And I pushed myself in front of the children so the fireworks would hit me, and I pushed them out of the way. Yeah. I wasn't really concerned whether I'd be hit with the fireworks or not. So there have been various situations where that's happened.
Part of that's leadership. Part of that is the protective instinct. If our politicians don't have that with their own families, how are they going to protect and lead the nation? That's why we keep getting short-termism. That's why we keep getting the wrong decisions being made. Because politicians should be saying, not in an infantile way, but looking at the populace going, basically, they're my children. I want this country to survive. That's why I'm planning for the future. That's why I'm going to do what needs to be done today that will benefit people 20 years from now. And they won't thank me for it, but your children didn't thank you when you were raising them. I bet they thought you were too harsh sometimes or whatever. Yeah. But it's not about you do what's the right thing for them in the future. And lots of our politicians don't have that. So let's look at Theresa May, no children. Boris Johnson, he's fathered loads of kids, not sure if he's in all their lives. So
we don't actually know how many kids he's got.
Right, so not a great role model there.
Multiple partners.
Yeah, I don't think Liz Truss, has she got children? I don't know. I'm not sure. Rishi Sunak did, close family. But you're right, we keep getting these politicians who don't have that traditional family. And I don't think, unless you've got that traditional family, that you can lead the country and put other people first as much as you do when you're a biological parent and you've done that. So being a parent can be a training course to get into politics. Yeah. You're all successful now, but there would have been times when you weren't successful, where you would have put your children first. You'd have bought what they wanted and you wouldn't have bought what you wanted because you were putting them first. We've had this conversation before where men get criticised, men like you get criticised sometimes because, you weren't there in the early days. You were always working, you left it all to your wife. Well, you may have done, but that was your job. Your job was to keep a roof above your children's head, make sure there's money in the bank, make sure you could take them on holidays. You didn't go to work to avoid your children. You went to work because of your children. Because if you weren't doing the hunting, the protecting from tribal times, your family would die. So men get a hard time sometimes for not being there. But it's not they don't want to be there, but their priorities tell them, I need to earn a living. I need to make sure there's food on the table. We've got a roof on our head. So men get blamed for that. But going back to Kemi Badenoch, she's completely right. Where are the fathers? Now, I don't completely blame the fathers. I blame the mothers and the fathers for this. And the government, by the way. Because we started getting single parent mothers a lot from the 60s. What happened in the 60s? Well, we got the pill. So we got the number one birth contraception in the 60s, and then single parent mothers increased. And then we started looking at women with not much money raising children, and so we started subsidising their lifestyles, the government. And they wonder why more women went, oh, I'll have a bit of that. When I was growing up in the 80s, I knew girls who weren't going out to get pregnant per se, but didn't care because I'll get a house, I'll be looked after. So we've rewarded women to make poor decisions, and then we wonder why more women make poor decisions, because we're financially incentivizing them to make those decisions. On the flip side, we need to look at the men. Paying single mums to look after their children, letting men walk away, was great for some men. I can have sex now. I've got no responsibility. My children won't. I love my children, but they won't starve. The state's looking after them. So we gave weak men a way of walking away from their families, where it should have been social pressure saying, you used to have made a baby now. I don't care about your personal convenience. I don't care about how happy you are and you're not getting along. I don't care. The second you made a baby, you went down the pecking order to number 2. Your baby's now pecking order number 1. Everything you do now for the next 18 years is about your child. That's your personal responsibility. But with feminism and with socialism and with weak men, they decided it affects my personal convenience. And then we started killing babies along the way because it's even easier. Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.